Okay, I've started the archive, so let's go ahead and start with our walkthrough, and it will be recorded, so anybody who needs to see it can come in and view the archive later. I'm going to start sharing my screen first. Can you let me know if you can see the screen? Okay, great. Let's go ahead and get started. Lisa, were you able to let Joyce know? Did you get a message off to Joyce?
I didn't, Dr. Snipes. I don't really know her. I was in that room as well because this room was not an option when I first entered. So
Okay. Okay.
Do you want me to leave this room and go back?
No, no. I'll see if I can get a note off to her. Hang on just a second. Okay, in order to get a message to her, I'm going to have to leave. I'm afraid. Let's see if I can. Nope. Just get a message real quickly here. If you guys can hang tight for just a minute. Joyce Reed. Oops. Okay. I hope she gets that in time to join the room. Let's go back in to start our walkthrough now. If we log into the University of West Georgia, as usual, into my UWG, at the top we want to click on External Resources. Meredith, it's okay. We just now have started, so you haven't missed anything. Click on External Resources, and we'll go into COE TK20. And you'll get this screen. We simply go on past that to continue to TK20. And this is what you're going to see. The first thing you want to do across the top is click on the portfolios. We have everything set up for you guys as a portfolio. So let's click on portfolios. You don't go into courses or anything else. Go into portfolios. Now from here, you probably only have one choice for a portfolio. SLM MED non-degree portfolio. And when I click there, it takes me to a screen where I have new tabs. across near the middle of the screen. Now, the tabs that you're interested in are the first four. You won't worry about the others at all. You're only interested in Policies and Procedures Handbook, Impact on Learning, Professional Practice, and Roles Exit Presentation. Let's take these one at a time. We'll start with Policies and Procedures Handbook. And most of you in the class have already posted some of this information, so you're somewhat familiar with TK20. But I want to make sure that you understand thoroughly everything you'll need to post for Practicum. Okay, under Policies and Procedures Handbook, all of this is the old table of contents that you've seen before throughout your program. And at the point where you are right now, some of you have got actual portions of the handbook that have been put together and completed, and some of you have additional pieces that are just resources that you've collected in some of your courses and not an actual handbook. So what I would do, were I in your shoes, I would click here to attach, continue. You'll do this every step. You have to go through this. Click on continue, and then click on the corner to expand it. Now from here, I would click on Browse. I would attach my file, and I would have it at this point loaded right here. So simply go in and attach files. Let's see if I've got something I can attach real quickly. My documents. I'll just pick something. Open. It's now attached. I can click to attach another file. The title is given for me. Make sure you've got a title in here. And be sure that you save at the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and click Save here. And it says my file has been attached now. Okay. I now have attached a file right here, Advocacy Article, and I can click here to attach another one and continue attaching files. Click here to attach, continue, stretch the box out. Now, at this point, I'm going to have to, since this is new, a new one, I'm going to have to create a new artifact. And the way to do that is not here. The way to do that, to add another piece, is to go into my artifacts. Think of it this way. I've just attached a file here, so it's now become automatically an artifact. So if I click on Artifacts, click up at the top, and it was named Advocacy. Okay, I still don't see it. I just see my activities checklist. Okay, let me go back to my portfolio file. Okay, click here to attach. I don't know if I lost my other one or not. So this is an area I may have to go back and look at. I've never practiced with this, attaching more than one file. I suggest this to you. When you click on Browse and you attach a file, and we'll do this again, open. Let's click to attach another file. And it's going to allow me now to browse and attach another file. So why don't you get all of your policies and procedures submissions ready in one place, and then attach them. Continue attaching. Attach another file. Attach another file. And that way you should have all of them attached. Let's practice and make sure this will work. Here's another one. Open. Attach another file. Save. Okay. Your artifact has been attached. It should be over here under Artifacts. But I don't see it. Okay. I'm going to have to work on this one. I do not know where it went. It is not showing up. Locked artifact. Okay. That's a question that we will have for TK20. We'll move ahead. Let me browse this and see. Nope. Not going to work. Okay. So much for that, folks. I will try to figure out how to get to attach more than one policies and procedures piece. There's another thing that you can do. Let's go back into policies and procedures. You can attach over here where it says reflection, but this is broken down into all of the areas of the table of contents. Probably the easiest thing to do, yes, it can be one document. Absolutely, Meredith. If you've got one document, stick it up there. You're good to go. If you've got more than one document and you don't want to go through and pull them all together into one document, simply go in and browse any one of these buttons next to any of the table of contents pieces and upload it. You might upload one here, maybe one here, maybe one here. Just put those pieces up. Yes, Blake, you submit the same files that you're submitting for the class, but you'll submit it here. You won't submit your policies and procedures handbook to me in Practicum. If you're a TK20 user, you'll submit your policies and procedures handbook here in TK20, and I'll grade it from here. But it does look to me like the easiest thing to do is to submit one document right here. And I will certainly work on figuring out what's going on with where those things are going if we submit more than one. Also remember to save. Down at the bottom, be sure to save after you've done any attaching that you do. Go back down and save here as well. Save what you attach and then save here, both places. Okay? Sorry about that. I have no idea where that first submission went, but I will find out and get an email out to let you guys know. Let's go on and look at the next one, impact on learning. Okay? Impact on learning is your Dewey PowerPoint that you taught. You can also upload, we have 3 here for these 3 items. One is for Dewey PowerPoint lesson, your analysis of the Dewey PowerPoint. Then you also did something in reference course where you did a type of Pathfinder or a resource kit, and that would, your analysis of working with students on the resource kit would go here. And you also did something in technical services where you created some kind of unit or something in technical services with Dr. Cooper that would go right here. Now, you can choose any one of those. You don't have to put all 3 of them up. As long as you've got one impact on learning form posted, we'll accept that. And keep in mind, when you taught the Dewey PowerPoint or those others, and I don't teach those other courses, so I'm not sure how that looked, but when you taught Dewey, this was where you were to have gone in and followed this part 3 set of instructions for how you put together and analyze the data from your large group and subgroup where you taught that PowerPoint. And if you've got questions, jump in anytime. You can hit the talk button and ask questions, or you can type into the chat area, and I'll try to catch any comments that you have. Okay, this one, let's walk through this. It's the same way. Click here to attach, continue, stretch the box out. And this is where you would give your document a name, something like that, whatever. Browse, attach that analysis that you've prepared, and save. Okay? Any questions about impact on learning? Okay, you do not have to. Okay, Lisa asks, as long as the policies and procedures handbook matches the table of contents, we could submit all at once. Absolutely. Whatever you've got, if you've got some of the document finished and you've got a list of resources later on in the program, you can combine all of that in one document and submit that in that format. That will be fine for you people who are finishing up right now. Meredith says, do you also submit the actual, do you PowerPoint? No, you just the analysis. All we need to see is the analysis to make sure we see that our instruction, as we assess what we're doing, that you are being successful in what you're doing in the field. And if students are achieving, beginning to understand what you're teaching, then that's a positive assessment for us. We can see that our instruction is, in fact, working, because students in the field are actually gaining information and learning what we're trying to get you guys to teach them. Okay? All right. We've got impact on learning covered. Professional practice. All right. All of these have got to be completed by the end of the semester, by the end of practicum. So let's go through these one by one. First is the activities checklist. Okay. Never worry about the standards over here at the end. We did not attach standards to all of these required activities. So you'll begin by, one of the things you'll do is your SLM activities checklist. Let's click here, click continue, and stretch the box out. Now here what we do to begin this exercise is we add a row right here on the left. I'm going to click add a row, and I'm going to choose one of these activities. Say I did the reference skills. Whenever I did that, I input the name of the school where I did it, the amount of time I spent, and I save it. Wonder what that's for. Save. Oh, I have to give it a title. Okay, I'm going to save that. Now, if you'll notice, right next to the activities checklist now, I have a little X. It now has a name, and I have a little X. Okay, if I'm going to go back in later, click on my activities checklist, I see that it's listed here, but I can't add a row. So what we have to do at this point is what we tried to do before with the Policies and Procedures Handbook. Go into Artifacts, and here's my activities checklist. And I can, at that point, add rows. Click on the pull-down menu. It's all the same list that you are accustomed to. Click on whatever it was that you completed, where you did it, and the amount of time you spent on it. And what we'll do here is we'll go back in and look at the number of hours to make sure you total 100 hours. And we can continue adding rows, or we can delete a row, or whatever we need to do. Be sure to save it at the bottom. Okay? After we've finished with this, we go back into our portfolios. Back into our course, and we're back with our tabs across the top. Okay, Lisa asks, is this the same form we turned in to you last week? This is the activities checklist, where you check off all the activities that you've done. Initially, we had you walking around getting initials on it. You are recreating it here in TK20. So you won't send me your activities checklist with all of the activities that you are to have completed. You'll post it here in TK20. And that's where I'll go in to look at it to make sure that you've completed all, or at least nearly all of the activities on that checklist, and we'll add up your time to make sure you've got 100 hours. So you basically are recreating your activities checklist here in TK20. Okay? Any questions? Okay, the volunteer checklist. Now, you may be talking about the volunteer conference form. That was so I could see. Okay, the volunteer conference form is where I need to just check to see where you are at the beginning of this semester to make sure you don't still have an outstanding 60 hours to complete. It's basically so I can see that you've got a good handle on where you need to be at the end of the semester and you're not in trouble. This is the activities checklist where you're going to click on all of the activities that you've completed. You have an activities checklist from the beginning of the program. And basically, it's all of these activities. Teacher collaboration. These are things you should have completed at some school at some point during your program, the whole program. And this is that checklist. I think it had blue across the top. Okay. Okay. Very good. Okay. But that's good. Ask questions. Any questions for clarification? Because there are a lot of forms and a lot of things to do. Okay. So we'll keep going now. We've got the activities checklist covered. Let's look at the volunteer reflection form. I'm going to click here, continue, stretch the box out. You'll need to name it, whatever you want to name it. Now, here is where you'll actually type in all of your experiences, your reflections. Instead of necessarily typing all of this in, you've already done a lot of this work on your previous forms. I would simply copy and paste into this box. So you've already done reflections for just about, well, for every course regarding volunteer experience. You can browse and upload a file if you want to. If you want to put it all into one document, that will be perfectly fine. I'll grade it there. Or you can copy and paste directly into TK20 right here. I would recommend if you copy and paste, be sure to date what you did, what this reflection with when you did it, and then go on to the next reflection and date that so that we can see a progression in your reflections. So you have two ways you can do this. You can copy and paste your existing reflections you've already done, or you can browse and attach a Word document of reflections that you have already done. Remember to save at the bottom. Be sure that you save it at the bottom. Okay? I'm going to cancel. You'll have to give it a title also. I'm going to cancel. Any questions on this one? Okay? Okay, Blake says the volunteer form, you put that in the Dropbox. That was the conference form that you put in the Dropbox. You did an extremely thorough job on that. This, however, is all the reflections you've done throughout the program. This was on a form before where there was a box at the bottom. Okay, very good. It said, reflect on your volunteer experiences through MEDT 6463, through cataloging. And there was another box below that that said, now reflect on your volunteer experiences from cataloging through to the end of your program. Okay? I'm not sure about your question, Blake. This is basically just reflections about what you did in the field. It's the conference form that you did is one that I just need to see in order to know how many hours you've done so that you're in good shape. Okay, yes, that's the sort of thing we're talking about, Blake, yes. the reflections that you did throughout the program about volunteer experience. Okay? Very good. I'm going to cancel this now. All right? You're welcome. Let's go on to the next topic here. This one, these two should have been completed earlier. Now, if they haven't been completed earlier, you need to do them now. One is basically you're rating yourself on how well you think you've done with the AASL competencies and your dispositions. Now, these first two are how you saw yourself at the beginning of your program. I'm going to go in and take a look at this. The last two are the exact same documents, the same surveys. You just rate yourself on where you think you are now at the end of your program. So let's see what this looks like. This is the AASL competencies, and I'm going into the second set here, 7478. Click, continue, expand the box, and this is radio buttons. Teaching and learning. Read these areas to see where you think you are at this point. Wherever you think you are with these competencies for AASL, click those. And remember, at the bottom, save. Be sure to save. Okay, I'm going to cancel. The dispositions is the same kind of tool. Click, continue, expand the box, and rate yourself as to where you think you are now with these dispositions. Professionalism, punctuality, preparation, professional demeanor, communication. Each of these, you'll just click on the radio button where you think you fall. And the tab we're under right now is professional practice. That's exactly right. Okay, and now we will click Save at the bottom. I'm going to click Cancel. So in this area of professional practice, so far we've talked about the activities checklist. We've talked about the volunteer reflection form. These two surveys are to reflect where you were when you started the program, and these two identical surveys are where you think you are now at the end of the program. Okay? Next, under professional practice, you're going to have school data forms for every course that you've taken. So let's take a look at what this looks like, because they're the same for every one of these courses. Let's take a look at 6461, Administration. Click here to attach, continue, and expand the box. This is, again, radio buttons, and you'll basically fill out each one of these. The title is School, I'm making this up, School Data Form Administration. Okay. You can just do a description if you want to. That's up to you. You'll just see that. The name of the school district where you did your volunteer work when you took administration, and the name of the school. The school level, it is elementary. And then I click here to go to the Department of Education website to gather the data that's going to help me populate this survey. Now, I realize, Meredith, you'll be in a different position because yours is a private school, but gather as much data as you can regarding your school. But the link is right here where you can go in and gather the data to complete this form. At the bottom, always remember to save. Now, you might ask the question, well, when I took administration, I worked at 3 different schools. You're only going to have opportunity to input 1 school per course. So keep that in mind. You want to cover all 3 levels So schools where you worked, make sure during one of the courses in the school data form that you cover those schools. You could under each one of your courses have different schools. And Meredith, I'm glad you were able to get that information. That's awesome. Any questions about the school data form? Let's go back in and look at practicums just to make sure we've got, well, actually, automation. I'm clicking continue and expand the form. School data form, we do the title, the name of the district and the name of the school, the level, and then gather the information from here to fill in the radio buttons and save. Okay? All of these forms look the same. At the very bottom, you have 3 links where you're going to input your school full day form for elementary, for middle, and for high. You're to have spent a full day at every level, and it looks the same. I click on elementary full day, continue, and expand. And I have the title, full day, whatever I want to name it. Full day elementary, the name of the district, the name of the school, and the data. Okay, that's professional practice tab. And all of these will need to be filled in. And again, forget the standards. We won't have anything to do with those links. Everything will be active from here. Mainly remember to save. Every time you go in and you input any data, be sure that you save it. Okay, any questions? I'll give you just a minute.
Dr. Snipes, it was my understanding that if we are working in a media center at this time, we were to spend a full day at the 2 different other levels. Is that still correct?
That is correct. You will the school that you're working in is probably the school where you're spending most of your time. Now, I know you, Lisa, are in a media center right now, and Meredith is in a media center right now. So you would fill out 2 of the boxes, but the other box you would, okay, and Blake as well. Oh, that's wonderful. Yes, you would, if you're working full-time in an elementary school, you're an elementary school media specialist. For this section right here, for school full day for elementary, fill in your school. And
okay,
then, okay, you're welcome. That's a very good question. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, let's go ahead to the next tab, which is Roles and Exit Presentation. There are instructions here that explain what you are to load right here. And, okay, Blake, I think that you spoke with Dr. Putney about that, or I did, and I think we've worked that out. So I think you're in good shape. I think you're fine. These are the things that you are going to upload here. And each step is spelled out for you. You're going to gather and organize your artifacts, and that's what you're working on with your portfolio matrix. You're deciding which artifacts you're going to use to show that you have been successful in the various roles as a media specialist, and you'll reflect on that work, on the projects and how they're related to the standards. So you're working on that now with your portfolio matrix. Second, what you'll do is you'll get those artifacts pulled together so that you can, at that point, create a portfolio, a presentation that has all of this data included in it. It will have, it should be in the form of a Weebly or a wiki. If you do a PowerPoint, I would expect it to be very well done. Most people will do Weeblies and wikis. That's the best way, the most efficient way of getting all this to work. A PowerPoint really has to be so massive to include links and access to all of your projects that it makes it a little difficult to upload. So we recommend a Weebly or a Wiki, but a PowerPoint will work. And the fourth step is that you're going to post your portfolio matrix here at this website. At this link right here. The artifacts will already be included in your presentation. Actually, all you're going to post right here is your exit presentation because the portfolio matrix is already built into that presentation. So if you create, say, your Weebly, you would just here attach, continue, expand, and if you created a Weebly, you would simply browse and you would attach a Word document that has the link to your Weebly on it. And that's all you would need to post, is a link to that Weebly. No, you do not post the artifacts here, not at all. All you post here is your link to your presentation. And if it's a PowerPoint, the problem is you would have to upload that full file here, and it becomes difficult because it's so large. But everything is kind of a one-stop package here in that portfolio, if it's a Weebly or Wiki or whatever, because everything is linked right there, and all we need is the link to where you've got it. You do present examples of you literally attach your artifacts, your projects, so that the 2 or 3 projects, most people do 2 or 3 projects per role, and you would link to those projects. The matrix is not a part of the Weebly, that's correct, just the information on it. Think of your matrix, as Dr. Putney had pointed out, as being a type of a storyboard for your final roles presentation. When you get everything laid out on that matrix, then you really have a visual image of how you're going to build that portfolio presentation. Okay, remember when you upload your file that has your URL, your link to your portfolio on it, to save. Remember to save. You'll have to give it a title, which is fine, and save it. But you'll upload, browse, and upload here. Okay, Meredith asks a good question. You can go either way with this. And if you'll notice, if you check out those 4 examples that are posted for you, you'll see that some of the students went with the standards and went from the standard to explain how the role fit up under the standard with the artifacts. Other people chose to go by roles, and they listed the various roles of the media specialist and then had the standards, so to speak, up under that. So you can go in either direction you want to. So I suggest that you basically take a look at those sample presentations because they give you a good idea about the various ways that you can go about presenting your work and your projects and relating them to the standards and the roles. Okay. All right, you're welcome. And I think that, remember to save at the bottom here as well. Everywhere you see save, save it. You don't want to submit yet, but you do want to save it. So we had a save when we went here to click to attach. There was a save. And then when you get it attached, save. Be sure you always save. Now that's a basic walkthrough of the various things, and it looks like the only thing I'm going to need to go back and look at is this Policies and Procedures Handbook and where it actually saved. But if you load this, if you upload this as one document down here at this area, I think you'll be in good shape, and I think that's what I would do. I would put it all in one document. And if you want to go with this route with these various pieces and upload your different pieces next to what seems appropriate in the table of contents and upload several things, that's fine. Either way you want to do the Policies and Procedures Handbook, you can do, and I will grade it from there. Keep in mind, I'm grading everything from here, not from CourseDen. So your stuff will have to be up in time so that I can get it graded. Okay. Any other questions you might have about TK20 or anything? Okay. If not, just keep me posted and let me know of any questions. Post it to the questions discussion board, and I'll be glad to answer. And if it's a question that needs input from Dr. Putney, I will get in touch with her and get you answers for everything. In the meantime, have a great evening, and this will be archived if you need to go back and take a look at it. Thanks for coming in, guys, and I'm sorry we were a little bit late getting started. Okay, you're welcome. Have a good evening.